You can almost hear the weight of the words as they slice through the air. "Stand back while we destroy this counterfeit passport." Officer Collins' voice echoes through the crowded terminal with a coldness that leaves no room for doubt. In that instant, Dr. Nadia Bennett feels her world unravel. She stands frozen as the TSA officer rips her passport in two, the pages falling limp in his harsh grasp. Without a second thought, he drops the fragments into a gleaming metal bin, striking a match that catches alight with cruel theatricality. The flames curl, swallowing every printed detail of her identity, her name, her authority, as if swallowing her. Travelers stop mid-step, curiosity and discomfort rippling through the suspended moment. Arms raised, legs rooted to the floor, she's forced into the posture of a criminal, even as her mind screams denial. Every motion by Collins feels invasive. His hands venture where they don't belong, lingering longer than necessary during a pat-down that borders on humiliation. Fellow officers watch from the sidelines, their smirks amplifying the betrayal of trust. "Fake is fake," Collins mutters low enough to be heard but loud enough to sting. "Doesn't matter how expensive your suit is." Nadia's tailored Navy attire, slightly wrinkled from the 14-hour flight from Ghana, earns no respect, no recognition of what she endured, of who she is. She commits everything to memory: badge numbers, faces, voices, the names and features of witnesses trapped in time. Her expression locks itself into carved stone, refusing to betray the turbulent emotions beneath irony or accusation. A text buzzes through her subdued awareness, briefly pulling her back into the world she was preparing to re-enter. Landed yet? Meeting the president in 90 minutes. She swallows that fact internally and exhales into composure. Years of training, of being the exception, of silently enduring, have transformed her posture into armor. Despite running on empty, her frame stays aligned, dignity intact. She's just spent 3 grueling days at a medical conference saving lives, building pandemic protocols, while the eyes on her flit past unaware, blind to her worth. Officer Collins zeroes in, tilting his head to nudge his complacent colleague, Officer Bryant. He murmurs under his breath, "Got another one with the diplomatic look?" He wagers $5 her papers don't check out. Last month, someone, perhaps well-intentioned, perhaps not, warned him about his disproportionate targeting of travelers like Nadia. Yet, the conversation ended with a wink and a nod instead of discipline, turning concern into complicity. When she steps into the spotlight of scrutiny, everything changes. Collins stands, shoulders squared, shifting from idle observer to authoritarian sentinel. He waves through 3 white travelers with no glance, no questions asked, and then looks to Nadia. "Step aside for routine verification, ma'am," he announces, voice unnaturally loud, eyes drilling through her. When he points to her elegant head wrap, something no protocol mandates, she removes it with the serene patience that years of observation have honed. She's been here before, maybe not this airport, not these faces, but this moment, this dehumanizing script, is wearying in its familiarity. She places her belongings in the clear bin with meticulous care, though her mind runs through the briefing she's slated for with the Surgeon General tomorrow. Collins whispers to Bryant, "Got another one trying to use diplomatic excuses. Watch this." He flips open her passport as if it were radioactive, his eyes flicking from the photo, a straighter hair, a softer expression, to her now natural style and steely gaze. Nadia states evenly, "I changed my hairstyle since the photo was taken." He snorts. "Purpose of your visit to Ghana?" he demands, ignoring the stamps that already lay bare her travel history. "I spoke at the International Infectious Disease Conference in Accra," she answers, her voice calm but firm. "I'm the lead virologist at Johns Hopkins." He laughs, silencing her with disbelief before she can challenge the prejudice behind his gaze. Bryant snaps on blue latex gloves and begins rifling through her carry-on. Her medical documents scatter across the stainless table. She moves to gather them, but Collins barks at her not to touch, his posture subtly threatening. A young white woman in line watches, discomfort rippling across her face before she slumps away, distracted by her phone. "I'd like to speak with a supervisor, please," Nadia says, perfectly measured. "Supervisor's unavailable," Collins replies with immediate dismissal. "Questioning my authority creates further suspicion, Dr. Bennett." He corrects her name incorrectly, deliberately. "It's Bennett," she replies. "I'm simply requesting proper procedure." He shrugs with practiced dismissal. "This is procedure for suspicious documentation," he says, voice elevated. "We determine what's appropriate here." Bryant continues, rougher now, rummaging through her medical supplies, strewn regardless of their delicate purpose. Collins holds up her conference badge, frowning. "These credentials could be fabricated," he claims. The badge displays official seals and names, but he sees only threat, not truth. Her White House visitor badge earns a narrow smirk from Collins. "Pretty expensive stuff," he says, holding her designer suitcase, stethoscope, notes, as evidence of unexplained affluence. The question hangs, where'd you get the money for all this? Her credentials become proof positive of suspicion. An older black airport employee pushing a cart nearby meets Nadia's eyes with a flash of recognition and solidarity. She subtly angles her phone to capture what's happening. Collins turns at the movement. "Hey, no recording in the security area," he snaps. The woman freezes. He advances. "Give me that phone." Nadia watches helplessly, fury pooling but her face unchanged. Airport Police Officer Diaz arrives, stepping in with a measured neutrality. Collins preemptively labels Nadia combative, citing possible fraudulent documentation. Diaz assesses quietly, positioning himself close enough to observe but not interfere. His neutrality tempered by something deeper, careful. Nadia's phone rings again. Its ID reads AG Office. Collins snatches it. A violation within violation. Nadia's brain logs it all. ID, Collins badge 4872, time 2:17 p.m., 14 witnesses. Violations, unlawful search, destruction of federal property, discrimination. On the phone, Diaz calmly reports, "This is Airport Police Officer Miguel Diaz at Philadelphia International, calling about your wife." The voice that replies is quiet but ice-cold. "Officer Diaz, I need every detail, names, everything," says the Attorney General. This tiny moment sends shockwaves. Collins continues with self-satisfied certainty until the gravity of the phone call shifts everything. Collins' voice wavers when he talks into the radio again. "She'll be available when we complete our investigation." But her mind races. This is no longer just a humiliating delay. It's now a reckoning. Collins ushers her to a glass-walled holding room, lit harshly, where intrusiveness becomes a performance. He rationalizes it to other passengers. Standard protocol for suspicious travelers. Bryant reluctantly follows. With her documents marked as evidence, Collins proceeds with formal write-up. Nadia requests water, bathroom access. "Restrictions during investigation," Collins says, barely concealing his smugness. A wave of authority arrives. Airport Director Simmons storms in, alert and alarmed. Collins launches into explanation. Subject presented suspicious documentation, evasive behaviors. But Simmons ignores him, eyes locked on Nadia behind the glass. Bryant, shaken, starts to carefully repack her scattered items. Collins shoves a clipboard under glass, transfer paperwork, filing forms. Homeland Security will need to know where she got such sophisticated forgeries. His script is unraveling. As a small crowd gathers, business travelers, families, bystanders, phones remain raised, pointedly recording. A businessman frowns. "This doesn't seem right. She asked for a supervisor 20 minutes ago." Whispers ripple through the terminal. TSA Supervisor Wallace bursts into the scene, frantic. Collins barely registers it. Wallace's phone shows 6 missed calls, Urgent texts. AG arriving now. Damage control. Collins' posture tightens, anxiety finally breaking his practiced composure. Nadia calmly says, "May I retrieve my phone to inform my husband?" She gestures toward the glass. Doors burst open. Attorney General James Bennett storms in, flanked by federal agents and Homeland Security. His presence alone commands everything. Collins doesn't notice until Wallace hisses in his ear. The world shifts. A.G. Bennett walks directly to the holding room. He meets Nadia's gaze, his eyes steady. He places his palm on the glass. He demands identification. "I'm Attorney General James Bennett. My office has received reports of civil rights violations at this checkpoint." He orders the door opened. Wallace fumbles, keycard scanning. Collins stammers, "We were following protocol." "I wrote half those protocols," the Attorney General interrupts, holding a diplomatic passport out for all to see. Collins' report crumbles under the authority of that evidence. Nadia steps out, her dignity unmarred. "I am Dr. Nadia Bennett." Her professional title carries weight, even across the din of curious onlookers. "I was returning from Ghana, where I led a global health response. Officer Collins detained me without cause, destroyed my passport, denied my rights." Witnesses step forward. The older custodian's video, the recording from the young woman, the businessman. Diaz stands, matter of fact. "I witnessed it. That was improper." Simultaneously, Simmons' face drains. This isn't PR fodder. It's legal liability. A press conference forms. Simmons reads an apology. Collins and Bryant are immediately suspended. Investigations begin behind closed doors. Documents are reviewed, depositions taken. The details unfold over time. Collins targeted minority travelers at vastly disproportionate rates. Complaints were buried, minimized, reclassified, ignored. Bryant cooperates and reveals instincts were actually prejudices disguised as intuition. Janice Williams, the longtime custodian, reveals decades' worth of documentation, proving this wasn't isolated. Diaz receives commendation for what he tried to do. TSA announces reform, new training, accountability, oversight. At hearings, Nadia testifies. Her voice is measured, confident, not seeking pity but accuracy. She details the psychological harm of humiliation, of being rendered other. Collins scrambles. His claims evaporate as protocols he followed are exposed as unwritten, informal, discriminatory. Wallace's admits he turned a blind eye. The AG presents hard data. The committee issues charges. Collins faces criminal and civil penalties. Bryant lesser for cooperating. Months later, the Traveler Dignity Act launches. TSA begins deploying body cams. Civilian oversight boards review footage. Anonymous reporting systems appear in airports. Training emphasizes the shield or report mandate. You either intervene or document. Undercover travelers test the system. Community forums include civil rights groups. Janice Williams is now heading Philadelphia's compliance office. Officer Diaz trains new officers on intervening. Statistical monitoring flags biases automatically. Quarterly community meetings hold airports accountable. Dr. Nadia Bennett founds the Travel Dignity Foundation to support travelers without authority or platform. With lawyers and psychologists, they document harm and build cases. They track complaint resolution, retraining efficacy. Data shows improvements. Secondary screening disparities drop. Cases resolve faster. Officer behavior improves dramatically. Testimonials appear on screen at checkpoints. "Now I travel without fear," says Fatima. "I'm not targeted," says Terrence. A.G. Bennett works on equality reforms across housing, funding, public services, driven by data and dignity. At Johns Hopkins, Nadia teaches the next generation. Expertise gives power, but integrity shapes legacy. 1 year later, she passes through Philadelphia Airport again. It's transformed. Diverse team, calm professional manner, clear procedures, multilingual signs, body cam awareness. Nobody tightens or judges. A TSA officer recognizes her, not because of her husband's position, but for her research. She smiles, acknowledging the progress. Janice Williams shows her updated metrics. Complaint rates have plummeted, compliance soaring. The Philadelphia model is being replicated in other airports. A.G. Bennett arrives carrying coffees. Denver implemented reforms yesterday, he says. Prevention, not reaction. Together they walk down the terminal, hands entwined, watching families and business people move through with respect and ease. She reflects. She chose transformation instead of vengeance. Documentation turned trauma into reform. Security must recognize humanity, she tells a reporter. Their partnership, professional and personal, has found new purpose. Always, she replies when asked about her next keynote. Her security experience may raise questions as much as her medical research, she knows. But now, those questions come from hope rather than fear. At the end of the day, the terminal hums with movement. But it hums the way it should, safe, respectful, ordinary. Because dignity won, not because she had power, but because she demanded it, and now the world is watching more carefully.